Joining us now is Missouri Congressman Blaine Luetkemeyer. Congressman, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
All right, well, we talked to Pete Snyder about this yesterday, who's now running for the governor of Virginia. He had the 30-day Virginia fund helping so many small businesses. But now with these new Biden rules and the Democratic governors that are just taking a toll on these small businesses, keeping them shut down. We talked to many small business owners who are fighting to survive. You are now the new ranking member of the House Small Business Committee. My question to you is, can you do anything in the minority?
Well, obviously, it's limited compared to what we would be able to do if we had a Republican president and a majority in both bodies. But what we have to do is provide the oversight. We have to look at all of the things that are going on and point out whenever things are not right. We can't sit by and twiddle our thumbs and let them have the bully pulpit of the presidency in both these houses and just run roughshod over our small businesses. We have to push back, whether it's offering bills, amendments, on the floor to existing bills, or whether it's getting on shows like yours to be able to get the message out that, hey, you know, President Biden said he's going to be all about the small business guys and help people stay in business. And the first thing he does is shut down two major construction projects that cost millions or thousands and thousands of jobs. So I think, you know, we can raise the issue. We can promote this, provide oversight. There's something called the Regulatory Flexibility Act that says every single bureaucratic rule has to have an analysis of its impact on small business, and we need to make sure that they do that. And if they don't do that, take them to task. And if those analysis show that the rules are going to have a negative impact on small business, make sure that we get that out there and push back hard on it. So there's a few tools in our toolbox, not as many as it would be if we're the majority, but we have to raise our voices and push back hard whenever we can.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of them, but it's like all of these executive orders and actions, which we noted yesterday is the most in history at this point. Are you concerned, based on what we've seen in 7 days, what we're going to look like in, say, a month or 6 months?
Yeah, I am. I really am. You know, Sean, I was there during the 8 years of the Obama administration, and I remember watching them run roughshod over us in 09 and 10. And then living over the last 6 years of the Obama administration with all the rules and regulations that came out of the bureaucracy, and them having figured out toward the end that they can actually become legislators through the bureaucratic process of rulemaking and enforcing guidance. And so, yeah, I'm very concerned about this because it looks to me like this is the Obama administration 2.0 on steroids. And we've got to be sure and watch this, point it out, and push back wherever we can, because our small businesses, which, as you well know, are the drivers of our economy, are at risk here. And with the lockdowns we've had, a lot of them are struggling to begin with. And this is just going to put a lot more of them out of business, if not at risk.
Right.
Yeah. I was reading an op-ed that you wrote recently where you cite that at one point, I believe it was 1,500 small businesses were closing down a day in 2020, which is horrific to think about. You know, but if the small businesses who do survive and who have made it, how is this $15 minimum wage going to affect them?
Well, I'm glad you, Sean, I'm sure you recognize the headline here. This is a magazine that you probably saw before. Imagine this, roll call with a above the fold front page story about it, just one more blow to small businesses, and a headline, the minimum wage. Even they recognize that this is not going to be good for small businesses. They're the ones who can't absorb sometimes these additional costs. They can't pass it on. So they've really got two choices: either shut down or lay off people. And you know, that's not a good option for them. These small businesses drive our local economies.
Yes.
You know, when they employ 70% of the new jobs and 50% total jobs in this country, they are the job creators and the innovators and entrepreneurs that drive our economy. We've got to keep them in business. To protecting them is protecting our economy and our future, quite frankly.
Yeah, I agree with that, Ton. By the way, Roll Call is one of the papers, just two papers, I think, on Capitol Hill. When I started on the Hill, that was like the Bible, before the internet, just to date myself. I mean, Roll Call came out in the morning, and that's how it was like the campus paper. You knew what was going on. It had everything from the gossip to the legislation stuff. So thanks for taking me back down that memory lane. But I got to go back for a second. If you can think back before the election, and there's a lot of people who are like, I don't like Donald Trump's tone in the tweets. I wonder how many people now, Congressman, 7 days in, are having buyer's remorse and saying, I kind of didn't mind the tweets as much because the policy is what mattered.
Well, I think that's the problem. That if President Trump had any problem at all, it was his tone, and it's unfortunate because if you look at his policies, they were right for our country. You know, before the pandemic hit, we had an economy that was just going gangbusters. 1.2 million more jobs than we had people to fill it.
Yeah.
Sean, that is phenomenal, and I think a lot of those things are still in place. People ask me all the time about the economy. Can it come back? Yes, as long as we don't change the underpinnings of this economy, which is low taxes and rules and regulations that don't hinder or are so oppressive they stop the growth of our small business people. If we keep those things at a minimum, we have the opportunity to grow this economy again. But my fear, one of the executive orders that President Biden has already issued is one that President Trump put in place with regards to taking off 2 regulations for every 1 regulation he put on the books. Biden has rescinded that executive order. What does that tell you? I mean, that should be bells and whistles going on all over the place. But so these folks, are very concerning to me with the way they've started out. The rhetoric from the far left, they hate businesses, and which is very unfortunate because the small businesses are the mom and pop shops that make up our local economies and local communities and hire our people, and it's very concerning to me. So yeah, this is my job. I'm getting my committee fired up here next week, and we're getting ready to go to battle.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because policies matter, and now we're living with it, and that's what people have to understand. The more you can go out there and explain that to people and talk about the impact that they're having, the better. So appreciate everything that you're doing because, I mean, you're right. Small businesses are the backbone of this country. They employ so many people that if small businesses don't do well, the country doesn't do well. So I appreciate what you're doing. As you guys continue to tell the world, you're always welcome back to help get that word out on this show, Congressman. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, John. Great to be with you and Lyndsay.